Doctor Who Episode 7, the one that seemed designed to humiliate Ncuti Gatwa.
And Ruby's mother, why was she pointing at me?
Finished?
Are you finished crying and whining about your own life, mate? No, I mean, really humiliate Ncuti Gatwa. He gets this guy killed.
He looks like he's been dead for 100 years.
Just so the head of unit can glare at him over it.
I'm so sorry.
And then obviously when Ncuti has his effeminate breakdown, a woman has to come along and tell him to man up and be better.
Now stop grizzling and fix it.
Yeah, man up. For once in your pissing life. Really comes to something when the Doctor's ex-companions have more testosterone than he does. This episode did feel the most like Doctor Who to me. It had the right kind of atmosphere and setting.
It's seen me. It's seen right into my soul.
This is beginning to sound like an audio tape of Russel T Davies' casting couch, probably because it's set in unit.
This is rough.
Like the script, it might just be my nostalgia for previous unit episodes bleeding through into this one, despite probably not deserving it. No, instead, this episode had other problems either returning from previous episodes.
Aren't you a beauty?
Should have gone to Specsavers.
Or brand new ones that seemed almost custom designed to annoy me.
And I'm Maurice Gibbons, Unit Scientific Advisor.
Millie Gibbons, Unit Scientific Advisor.
We're gonna get a little brat, say he's really intelligent, and then make him annoying to listen to. Congratulations. This episode did give me a new theory, though, that the entire series is just here to humiliate Ncuti Gatwa, because he definitely seemed targeted in this episode.
Finished?
Even the description of the next one humiliates him. The Doctor has lost. Nothing can stop the devastation now, except perhaps a woman. Seriously, I couldn't write a parody better than Doctor Who. I've also seen another description of this where they call Ruby the key to everything, so, you know, it can get worse. But I think the main thrust of that description is the Doctor has lost. The Doctor has been defeated, as he has been useless in every episode. In Space Babies, he didn't save anybody. He saved a snot monster that was going to wipe out all of the children.
Don't overdo it, Plucky. Once is enough.
So in that, he only saved the villain. In Devil's Cord, he did nothing. He got defeated. Again. And instead, the Beatles had to save his life for him. In Boom, he did nothing. He got defeated. Again. He was going to die until a father bailed him out of the problem.
So sorry then. Bye. This is it?
73 yards, Ruby had to save herself because the Doctor vanished as he got defeated again. Dot and Bubble, a bloke had to sacrifice himself to save her. Because the Doctor could just sit underground for a bit and essentially did nothing again.
And I can save your lives! Now let me!
Episode 6, Rogue. He gets his companion killed because he's too busy trying to get his end away with a bloke.
I think you and I should go outside. Fast paper.
I didn't become a little bit of a slag, I became a total slag.
He's so aggressively coming onto him that he ignores the aliens slaughtering people in the house over there.
Take a look. And
Did you just lock him in, including his companion? And so the guy he's been coming onto the entire episode has to sacrifice himself to save the companion.
Find me.
Well, the Doctor does nothing and cries because he's been defeated again. And this episode, does he save anybody? No. He does intentionally get someone killed and then loses again. Multiple people have had to sacrifice themselves because of his incompetence, and all he does every time is cry. And when you see it from that angle, and that Davies has talked about how much he specifically had to choose Ncuti to be in this role, why do you seem to hate him so much? All you've done is humiliate him and show him to be useless. And this episode, that just gets worse. We start with him desperately trying to fly into unit. You could ask why didn't any of the Londoners see this? They probably did and were just grateful that a moving vehicle didn't steal their mobile phone as it passed them.
Watch it there, in seconds, bangs. And this one,
Oh.
even quicker.
Go protocols, everyone.
For a second, I did think they put her in a wheelchair. Actually, if you spent 8 hours working at that desk with a screen at that angle, you're probably going to need a wheelchair.
Helipad doors to open.
Yeah, we've got a child who can't walk or talk.
But we put him in a suit.
I'm actually glad they did tell us he was a child, because otherwise, he kind of looks like he's 56. I do have to say, though, Unit is very similar to the BBC, isn't it? The leader, the first employee you see, the second, and the third. The only person with more tip boxes than them is Amanda Steinberg. You've even got the next version of ChatGPT. So he decides to fly in through the doors. I mean, that'll screw up your paint, mate. But he flies it perfectly down the middle through all the desks, and that's how we know that he hasn't yet regenerated into another woman. Why he couldn't have just instantly teleported into this space, nobody knows. Our unit's got shield. Yeah, but they could have dropped them though, couldn't they?
Give me the loving!
It is remarkable how few seconds Ncuti Gatwa can be on the screen before I find him annoying. This is why you need to have a British person as the Doctor, because they don't act like that. But the linebacker runs down the hall. That was a struggle, wasn't it, mate? We need an instant replay of that. He's like, love, I wasn't built for this. That's definitely the face of enjoyment and not, oh, this was a mistake. I haven't lifted you up. I've just bent my spine backwards while holding on for dear life. I mean, look at the size difference. You did not have to wear heels, love. That's just making it worse. Him pick you up, it should have been the other way around.
Ruby, Rose, Rose, Ruby. 2 different shades of red.
Yeah, although only one of them sees it every month. But as the Doctor hugs a woman, the head of unit, finally, he's taller than someone again.
No, Ibrahim, someone has been working out.
Put him down, Doctor. When you did that in the last episode, you got someone pissing killed. Try and keep it in your pants for 50 minutes, can you?
I get busy, you know.
Doctor's about to get busy with you if you're not careful.
Hi, sorry, I didn't get your name.
Harriet.
Yes, Harriet. Sorry, I didn't get your name. I brought that up because it'll come in handy later. What is this, like, really submissive, like, crouching that he does when he meets someone? It's like he's intentionally making himself smaller than them and, like, submissive. You can see he's really bending himself to be smaller than her. That is weird. Look, he walks up to him entirely straight, much as he can be, but the moment he sees her, look how he instinctually reacts.
Hi.
Crouches. And then he walks along the ground towards her, crouched.
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Harriet.
That is weird. To the point where he is literally bending over. Hello, Harriet. Please don't bully me. None of this have anything to do with the Doctor. I just find his body language bizarre.
And I'm Maurice Gibbons, Unit Scientific Advisor.
Oh.
Millie Gibbons, Unit Scientific Advisor. You can tell I'm really smart, because I can't talk.
That would also be my reaction. Before asking them to open those doors so I could throw him off.
13 years old, accelerated genius.
I'm the accelerated genius. You can tell that because that's how I talk. This is how whole genius is talking.
Because when you do this, it comes across as if you've got a humiliation fetish. It really does. No, we're just going to get this child in here and bully and shame him on national television.
The funny thing about this is the irony.
13 years old. Nice to meet you, Maurice Gibbons.
Yeah, he's the only 13-year-old in the world that looks like he's 56. Also, he can't walk either. So I immediately expected him to be the villain because we know what Russel T Davies thinks of those.
And a lot of us on the production team had the problems with that of associating disability with evil.
I feel pretty and witty and
happy in the traditional sense of the word. But he's come to talk about Susan Twist that he's been seeing across the universe. She's been there in every episode, even having children in various lives, which is more than most of the population do nowadays. But as they're talking, they're all looking at each other as, he doesn't know, does he? He doesn't know. So when he tells them to look for her, doesn't take long.
This is when the whole world.
She's doing an announcement under Triad for software. She's going to give away free to everybody.
Susan Triad, IT genius.
But at least they can talk properly.
But the Doctor, obviously, smartest person in the room.
Triad spells out TARDIS.
Ah, look, it says TARDIS. And that's not the only TARDIS in the room. Right next to him, there's a small child who's a retard. These coincidences keep adding up.
Well, obviously.
Oh, obviously. Have you considered the amount of tick boxes in this room? We were going to work that out faster than you.
Even I got that.
And he's a man. If he can understand it, it must have been easy. I just want to point out their attitude. Oh, well, of course, we're all great with anagrams. Of course, we know anagrams, you idiot. Better keep that going throughout the entire plot then, shouldn't you?
never mind the anagram, look at her name.
It's like, don't you understand her name, Susan? That's the name of your granddaughter, isn't it? It's not as if Susan is a common name or anything.
Susan is the name of my granddaughter.
Yeah, and millions of other people across the world. 99.85% female. I'm sorry, who's calling the bloke Susan? What did you think you were doing at the time? Oh look, it's like an IQ chart. But as we travel down the colon once more, as it winks at him, and he just can't resist another one. It's like, she set up the company 3 years ago. She's done basically everything, even kids' books. But she changed her name to Triad 3 months ago, and immediately we were onto her, because we are amazing at anagrams.
Evil genius with secret alien software. It's top of our list.
I don't even know what to count as alien software. Windows without spying on you. They said we've researched Susan, found absolutely nothing.
The software's clean, no secret alien signals.
And if a 13-year-old baby can't find it, no one can. He had to burn the turkey Twizzlers at both ends to get that result. But Ruby has an interesting question.
Doctor, am I being thicket?
Yes, in general, yes. You're blonde though, it's expected. Sorry, I know that's offensive. Bottle blonde, probably something in the chemicals. He's like, how'd you not know your own granddaughter? And so we have to get another explanation of regeneration, suspiciously. You law dumped everything else in the first episode. Why you've waited now for this?
Time Lords can regenerate their faces.
And yet for some reason, I decided to keep this moustache.
Like a disguise.
I like how we ADR'd, like a disguise. I'm sure that won't come in handy in the future, right? No, we regenerate our bodies when we die, but now we're specifically talking about a disguise first.
Right. Okay. What for?
Didn't you listen to the ADR that wasn't in the script when you filmed this?
Like a disguise.
What for?
As though you could tell in the original script he said faces and bodies, and why would you do that? Not, like a disguise! Well, I've already explained it to her, especially when he repeats that in the next scene anyway.
Can save us if we're dying, or sometimes we can hide ourselves away.
You get that? We can hide ourselves away. Like a disguise! My favourite thing about Russel T Davies' writing is the subtlety.
Probability of a trap, 95%.
One of the key aspects of immersion in a TV show is everything has to be believable. Not realistic, believable. Like a genius being able to talk properly. But it turns out this isn't actually her speech and she's just warming up. They've hacked the cameras though, so they have a live feed to her practicing. And we brought back one of the old companions for this episode.
Hey, Mel. Oh, you would love Mel. Bonkers.
I'm not sure if that says more about Ruby or Mel. You would absolutely love her. Off her rocker she is, and complete lunatic. Found her trying to fry a fish in a toilet once. It was wild.
And she's discovered one surprising thing. Susan Triad turns out to be really nice.
That is bizarre. I mean, she is a woman. There's a first time for everything. I mean, that's how you get LinkedIn articles like when women are bad bosses. Are they the worst? HR leader, helping organizations to embrace change in apparently the best way possible. Both ladies look like the hyena prototype. They were the most aggressive and manipulative people I have ever met. One of them took you in and called it a safe space for confidence, pumping you for personal information that she will eventually use against you. It's like she married them. A one-to-one meeting that looked like a waterboarding session. Convinced you that you were the idiot of the village and grateful to be alive. Maybe that's why she treats the doctor in this episode how she does. But they've given Mel an important job.
We got her undercover on the media team.
Undercover on the media team, very important figure. Her main roles include tea lady, hugely important role, would make me far more productive. I could do with a media person myself. But he says, we've got another mystery woman.
Ruby Sunday!
Do we all have to say it that way? Ruby Sunday! Oh, look, half her pictures have the jobless scrounger in them.
Amazing, you look gorgeous.
She looks exactly the same as she does sitting next to you. Those pictures would have been taken during filming. He says, no, we're not actually after Ruby, we're after whoever her mother was that left her as a baby. Presumably because they're after 18 years of child maintenance from her. And backdated birthday presents. And Christmas presents. Get all that together, add in interest and inflation, I think we can bankrupt her. We tried to find her because I even contacted Davina McCall on Christmas Eve.
I love Davina. I love Davina.
No, I'm Spartacus. What is this? The Sisterhood Affirmation Circle of Hell. No, I'm amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. I'm so glad I'm a bloke where we just insult each other.
Is she nice?
Oh, she's
Even the 13-year-old is like, are you insane? I love Davina. Is she nice?
That's one good thing.
Even the kid is like, oh my god, I'm gonna vomit on my own shoes. These people are insufferable. Can we please get back to something which requires an IQ?
So, sorry, you've got...
Yeah, so, sorry. I mean, barring the incredibly important topic of, is Davina an arsehole? We do have an alien woman on the loose somewhere. But they ask him, you've got a time machine, can you just travel back in time and look at her face? He's like, no, I've already done that once. I can't cross my own timeline.
That's not like you. You love to break the rules.
He's not the only one, love, is he? Have you considered a career in sport?
Yeah, but it snows.
I mean, that's as good as... This is London. Any snowflakes getting through that pollution, they've got to be bizarre. Whenever she thinks of the day, it just starts snowing, and that means time is fluid. It's weird. It's broken. Definitely shouldn't take a time machine there. Luckily, though, Mrs. Binger, which is coincidentally what no one will do to this series. You couldn't survive watching 8 of them back to back. You'd need to call an ambulance. Mrs. Binger goes, there was CCTV. We can just go and look at it. It'll be fine. The camera was 66 meters away, not even pointing at the church. I don't know why they thought they'd see anything. Not that that's going to stop the child.
Look at our technology. We can sharpen the image.
We've got technology. We can AI upscale. Always the most farcical part of a television show when they go enhance.
Hold it. Run that back.
There, freeze that.
Full screen.
Okay, freeze that.
With the right equipment, the image can be enlarged and sharpened.
Enhance the detail and...
Someone's reflection.
reflection.
There's a reflection of...
Hold on a second, I'll enhance. Zoom in on the door. Stop. Go back to the part about the door again. Enlarge the Z-axis.
Or my personal favorite, Enemy of the State.
Rotate us 75 degrees around the vertical, please.
So they have to go to Ruby's house to get the videotape, which is hidden under her bed. And obviously, we've got the TARDIS, it can travel through time and space instantaneously. We'll just get in that for 30 seconds, shall we?
I suggest we take Miss Sunday home.
In the TARDIS.
At once, ma'am.
Well, you can't fly it, mate. What do you think you're gonna do? So they walk away from the TARDIS to a car because they just enjoy inefficiency. I don't know.
It's like we're on a mission. They never give me proper work.
Is it because they don't want Rose in the TARDIS? What if something goes wrong and it rewinds time? That would be horrific.
They had me investigating shoplifting in Catford.
No, I'm sure that line will come in useful at some point in the future, or they just think she's a useless cow. It's one of them. You've got Unit investigating shoplifting.
Just give her a mop and make her clean the floors. Yeah, there's nothing she can do. After all, what are even her qualifications?
Apart from hiding an alien that was trying to take over the world.
You stupid woman with your weird child!
You know, almost bringing about the destruction of London.
5 square miles, the whole of London town, burnt as fuel.
That's always going to put you on my good side, but London doesn't like it.
You need to give me a job because I met the Doctor once for a bit.
Mel, though, obviously using state-of-the-art unique technology by having a giant massive circle on her hand with a visible wire. There are Rode microphones more discreet than this, but we find out a bit about her history. I had a good mum and dad.
He was a postman, she was a dinner lady.
And we saw that same dinner lady in one of the previous episodes. She keeps popping up in every episode. Maybe it's just mother and daughter look identical, who knows? But she goes to shake her hand, and they have to show us the disc again, just in case you forgot it, in the previous 30 seconds. Also, I'm not being funny, but you would 100% feel that.
Why is there this bit of plastic digging in my hand?
She shakes her hand, though, and gets the DNA sample. Despite the fact that as people, we leave our DNA all over the place, you can get it far easier than this. Meanwhile, Ruby has travelled back to the jobless scroungers.
Here it is. Safe and sound.
You didn't even put the tape in a box. Although, as anyone from those days knows, the biggest threat to a videotape was the tape player itself. Those things would eat more videotapes than Lizzo. This unit can do things we can't. We could finally find out who my mother was.
Amazing technology. I mean, it could do anything.
Is that why you work there? You're desperately hoping they'll pay for it.
You work for Unit.
I love the surprise and the shock. You
work for Unit.
Oh, I'm as surprised as you are, love. What on earth are you doing there? Thought it was supposed to be the best and the brightest.
My mother's part of it. Is she?
You work for Unit? Yeah, I got in through my mum. Nepotism, you see.
Well...
Calm down, love. Hey, if your mother can be part of Unit, I can be. Haven't had a job in the last 50 years. But for this instance, I sniff free money. And so?
Your mother's part of it. You can tell her your mother is too.
Yeah, I've just given myself a job. That'll be 150 grand, please. What for? Dunno. Have absolutely no skills whatsoever. If they want advice on benefit fraud, I'm perfect at that. I haven't paid rent in 15 years. Even had a woman come round from the government tell me I can get another flat underneath for absolutely nothing.
Merry Christmas, Cherry. We should really get you a ground floor flat. How much are these flats underneath you? What do they go for?
Might as well be telling me. I'm the one who'll be paying the taxes.
Go and get Mrs. Flood.
What for?
I could even convince the neighbours to come round and do free work for me. But as Mrs. Flood comes up, and obviously she's not been suspicious at all, despite the fact she saw the TARDIS disappear in the first episode and didn't care.
Busy man, sweetheart.
Happens all the time, you see. She even interferes with the radio when she turns up.
There's a warning.
Very subtle, Davis. Very subtle. But she's like, oh, it's great to be out my house.
It's nice for me to get out.
You haven't got out. You're in another house next door.
I'm always hiding myself away.
You're really subtle, Davis. That's what I like about you. But I think the real big clue that there's something wrong with it is...
Aren't you a beauty?
Should have gone to Specsavers.
Yes, Abomination, something that happened in the last Rose episode.
When I say she looks gorgeous, is that right?
Does she look gorgeous?
Yes. This extraordinary, beautiful thing.
Everyone's got to say she looks amazing all the time. Maybe if we say it often enough, someone will believe it. We're not sure whether we can try and convince her or ourselves.
You too, Ruby. Still
doesn't really hit the same when you've just said that to that.
Hoping for that growth spurt.
Oh.
Do you want the growth spurt? Yeah, those ladies really are getting taller nowadays, aren't they? I don't know why you can't compete, Ruby, with the rest of these new and improved ones. If I was being generous and didn't know Russel T Davies wrote this, that could actually be a clue that she's an alien, as it means you don't understand humanity at all. But the joke would have to be, we all know we're lying to each other about this. And because you're not from here, you don't know that you should lie as well. I just don't think Russel T Davies has the guts to go there. But as the mother leaves, she says this.
It's about time I cause trouble for myself.
So I've decided to just give myself a government job. I'm like, they already pay for this house. They might as well give me some more money for doing nothing. When you've taken the piss your entire life, what's a little bit more? But she, obviously, always wants to take advantage. She's managed to out-scrounge the scrounger.
I would love a cup of tea.
You could go and get it yourself then, can't you? You lazy cow.
Well, we'd all like a lot of things that aren't going to happen.
Based! How to make me like your character in about 3 seconds. And she just looked out. What? But I've always been able to take advantage of everybody else.
What that's supposed to mean?
I'd be very careful, Mrs. Sunday.
I think I could fit your bed out that window.
There's a storm coming in.
Yes, it turns out she's not who she appears to be, except that's exactly who she appeared to be when you literally showed the TARDIS vanishing in front of her and she didn't care.
He wakes.
She breaks the fourth wall, as people have done this entire series, because Russel T Davies thinks it's edgy.
He wakes no more.
And no doubt she will save the Doctor in the finale, probably when he's crying. Now, we do witness this storm rolling in that she talked about, but I can only assume this is something no one else can see. Nobody else mentions it in the entire episode, which, considering unit headquarters is right there as it's rolling over it, you think they would. Back at unit, she's like,
And my dad never told me you had a granddaughter.
and then we get Ncuti Gatwa just talking as Ncuti Gatwa.
I was a different Doctor back then, Kate.
A better one.
Great enigma. Still can't shake it off.
Is that I can't shake off the weight of my ancestry. It's you shouldn't be doing. It really is just Russel T Davies going, I wish we could leave all that stuff behind. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. I can't shake it off. I've called this season 1. Still doesn't do anything. Everyone keeps thinking of better times before I arrived. If only I could wipe history out, then maybe they might think I'm good if they don't have any other frame of reference to compare me against.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you really are trying, aren't you? I'm desperately trying to destroy all the history that came before me, but people realise this really was a better show when it was British.
That means you've got kids.
Well, not quite, not yet.
And I don't know why any of this is being said unless it ties into the story. That somehow we're about to find out his child, which then gives birth to his granddaughter. You know what these people are like. They desperately want to jump back in time and tie themselves into it.
Be like, no, I was here first.
It's probably what's coming.
You can have a granddaughter before a daughter?
Life of a Time Lord.
No, is the no. He might meet the granddaughter before he meets the daughter, but he still has the daughter first. By definition. The Doctor would understand. The actual Doctor would understand this. But she says, how come you never went back to see her? You could. You have a TARDIS. But this isn't the Doctor. This is the first female Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. And so obviously, he's insecure, weak, pathetic, and desperate to be a victim.
You've seen my life. I bring disaster, Kate.
And I've been oppressed. I only bring a female companion around with me so I can look at it and go, you're so much better than me. If only I was you.
Oh.
What if I go back and ruin her?
Well, pretty sure that's illegal for a start. If you want to do that, you're going to have to meet her in Norfolk or Alabama.
For what it's worth, I think you bring joy.
That's understandable. This is the first time you've met him. If you'd seen the previous episode, you might disagree. But she says, do you think Susan Triad is your granddaughter? Well, obviously she isn't, otherwise they wouldn't spell it out in the plot. Russel T Davies, I love how you're really, really subtle. I mean, just look at those titles. Visionary of our time. The world will be hers. Eventually the future is female. And then we get another bit of a lore dump just to catch people up.
What if you just said hello? Would you recognise her?
Yes.
You didn't with Mrs. Flood, did you? That's who my money's on. Are we going to be like, well, he never said hello to... No, but he did walk past her, didn't he, really?
Busy man, sweetheart.
I'd like to go and meet her, but the probability of a trappy keeps going up, and as we all know, the Doctor is obsessed with traps. He has never once realised something is a trap and just sprung it. Not as if that's one of the keys to his character. He's just completely confident he can beat them. Even Tennant is like, it's fine. I could do this with half a ship when he got cut off from the other buttons.
I can do it by hand. I can do a half run, that's fine.
This was like, no, I'm oppressed and weak and stupid. I'm scared.
He is literally the weaker half.
Trap 95%.
96.
Thanks for that, you stupid read.
You see, I'm even getting outclassed by a 13-year-old. Like I say, I think this is a humiliation ritual. All this show is just,
I'm weak and stupid and pathetic and evil.
Come here.
You baby. You emotional wreck. You weak, pathetic excuse.
Come on.
Yeah, have a hug like the child that you are. The emotional wet wipe. Why don't you cry like a little girl again? That'll be fun. But he meets Mel. You can pick that one up a lot easier.
A little trouble.
Once again, meets her, crouched down. It's very weird. It's like he instinctually, I have to make myself small and vulnerable to you. Bizarre. I've never seen anyone else do this. But Mel says, I've got a daily DNA sample and come back. She's confirmed human.
But we know that already, don't we?
Kate's got a chrysalis theory.
Apparently, she's human now, but might be transforming into something else. Why does she have that theory? No reason. Literally no reason. She's just constantly been testing her. She's found out she's human and concluded, nah, definitely can't be, can she? Must be that woman's intuition. You can feel it in her water. Just means she feels a burning sensation when she pees. It's probably just someone talking about her vagina.
Just because Susan Triad is nice doesn't mean she can't change.
True, but no one was talking about her personality. We just DNA tested her as human, you silly cow.
Caterpillar doesn't know it's a butterfly. Phoenix is just a bird till it burns.
And some people go through their entire life and think, hey, actually, I'm a... Ruby comes back though, I've got it, but they wouldn't let my mum into this top secret building.
Even the Prime Minister can't walk into unit.
That makes sense. Even if this was an office block for Tesco, they'd be like, why do we just want the jobless scrounger here? We employ security to keep the shoplifters out.
especially the Prime Minister.
When was this filmed? Well, maybe they do have taste. So the Doctor just gives her permission. It's Carla. I mean, what happens if an alien invades and he wants advice on how to claim housing benefits? I mean, none of us have any experience doing that. She could save the world.
Right, fine, thanks.
Now I've got another useless piece of trash lying around. I'm gonna have to find a job to do. Maybe you could put her with Rose to investigate the shoplifters. She probably knows most of them personally. But he grabs the tape and has an important question.
Kate, do you have a time window?
And everyone's like, what's a time window? Not because they've never existed in Doctor Who before, but because whatever it is in this episode is nothing like what's been in Doctor Who before.
You expressly told us it was absolutely forbidden to experiment with any form of time technology.
And he's like, yeah, but come on. I've met Unit before. You mess with this stuff all the time in an attempt to destroy the world.
Do you have a time window?
10 floors down.
What was the point with denying it if you were just going to tell him anyway, eh? And even now, you can see her face as if this is a really bad idea. And you should learn that expression. She's going to be using it a lot. Because we enter the time window, which isn't really a window, with the guy who's meant to be 13. He can't walk and is very small for a 13-year-old. The Doctor decides to look around before. That's actually been my reaction to a lot of your plot points.
This is rough.
That's exactly my reaction to a lot of his plot points.
Wow, you have lashed this together.
Like the script. But obviously, we meet a new guy who might as well be wearing a red shirt.
Head of time window security.
Yes, time window security. Why do we have time window security? Let alone a head of it. It's one pissing room. What does he do? Stand there and guard the LEDs? Then we get an entirely pointless bit of dialogue. Like, seriously.
Hey, is that a Manchester accent?
Proud to say, Mom.
Is this just meant to be, he's definitely from Manchester. He's as British as the next guy.
I'm Ruby, I'm from Tameside.
Good to meet.
I'm from Tameside. I don't know why we've suddenly started talking like this. From Tameside. You would have done good in the Acolyte. The one, the two, and the many. So the Doctor gets very confused about how electricity works.
Charges up using the entire nuclear output of Europe.
Yeah, good luck with that, mate. There is a reason why nuclear power plants are built near where the energy should be used. Nor does it explain why all the lights go out across Europe and nobody notices. Let alone the fact that you're never going to convince the French to power up your stuff. But he says it powers up and projects an image from the past, like 3D history. Entirely unlike any other time window ever in Doctor Who, but he's just said it works now, so it does.
We saw the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but...
Why did you even care about that in the first place? Apart from the fact that Disney paid for this. If it was written for the British, they would have been like 1812 when we burnt that thing down. You'd go back and visit the Battle of Agincourt or something. You know, a moment in time that meant something. Are you sure pissing off the majority of viewers is a good thing? No, but it is funny. But Doug says we can supercharge this thing by feeding them a CCTV camera. And like, that's not how any of this works. Once again, entering that whole fantasy element, but they're just gonna, I can do it!
Morris Gibbons.
Has anyone seen the child
Yes, Doc.
Seems a bit mean making him come all the way over here, doesn't it? He has enough difficulty getting in his chair, let alone walking. He's like, oh, he's called me again. Hang on, give me 5 minutes to get down from this thing.
Get this VHS wired up to that system.
Why didn't you give it to the security guard to take it over to him instead of making him do double the journey?
Recreate Christmas Eve 2004.
They want to travel back in time and see when TV used to be good. Maybe they could learn a few things. But they start off watching on a TV. I'm like, why have you got a TV from the 70s? All you need is a VHS player. You could have used any television. It's actually got a TV aerial on the back. I had one of those. Meanwhile, they bring in the layabout mum. I guess it's understandable this machine costs an absolute fortune in taxpayer money. So does she. But they're like, look, it doesn't even provide any information. It's not looking at the church and you can't see anything on it.
Wasn't even pointing at the church. But the information exists.
Congratulations, love. Well, it's recording something.
That snowflakes fell on a southeast axis.
How is that going to help you with the church? Earlier, the Doctor said this.
Actual positions of the snowflakes.
Yes, in an area completely unrelated to what you want to look at. And that's supposed to help you look at something else. Really is magic fantasy.
This place is insane. How much did it all cost?
Does it really matter? It's not as if you help pay anything towards it. In fact, your initial reaction...
How much did it all cost?
That's what I think every time you appear on screen. The Doctor, though, wants to start the machine. Everybody stay back behind the glass. Do not come into this room.
Don't worry, she's safe. The Doctor helped me.
Yeah, but that was an entirely different Doctor. You haven't met this one. He basically got Ruby killed in the last episode. Somebody else had to sacrifice himself for her. Ruby, at this point, has got like a 20% chance of survival with this Doctor, if there's another man in the vicinity anyway.
Close the time window.
Time window closing.
So they close the time window and keep everyone safe, and for some reason, he's so stupid he closed it on the wrong side. There was only one instruction everyone was given.
Now, stay back, behind the glass, everyone.
Everyone?
Oh, I don't think that applies to me. Oh, oopsie, I've closed the windows from the wrong side again.
This is what happens when you hire via tick box. Incompetence. But it gets her to remember that day, and once again, it starts to snow.
It's snow.
Thanks for that, love. I was worried that I couldn't keep up. I mean, before, I only had one subtle hint.
And what else?
It was snowing.
Oof. After she said that, I was like, what's that white stuff in the air? Was Russel T Davies been looking at pictures of Ncuti Gatwa again?
That's impossible. Haven't turned it on yet.
Look, mate, I'm surprised you can even reach all the buttons. But it goes, time has
Tithe and hollows and secrets.
And he's desperately trying to build up some tension in the delivery.
And this fixed point on Christmas Eve is the wildest I have ever seen.
It'd be a shame if something happened to ruin the atmosphere.
Now turn on your machine!
Well, that'll do it. He can suck the atmosphere out of any episode he's in, which is why the best ones were when he wasn't. So we pressed about 70 different buttons, because for some reason we didn't automate any of this.
Bring it back!
Bring it back!
Bring it back!
Ugh. I'm not sure if this is Doctor Who or an intro sequence from Dancing on Ice.
The power of many!
But the time window brings everything back as Ncuti experiences something he's never experienced before, holding a woman. And we get a really dodgy world that, as we get further into this, will make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
In 2004?
Thanks for that. I mean, I had forgotten why we were here. You'd only told me 3 minutes ago. I have the memory of a goldfish.
We brought it back!
You didn't do anything. Again. We did it! No, you just arrived here. They did literally everything. In fact, the only thing you contributed to anything in this episode so far is you whined at them about how pathetic their time window was. Which, let's face it, if you could do better, why didn't you? They've got a problem though, the core's unstable, everything is way beyond maximum.
Should we stop?
No way.
See, 13-year-old, no idea what he's doing, doesn't care about safety at all. This is going on way beyond safe limits, but it's fine, I'm not in there, only they are. So, you know, doesn't matter if they die, I'm safe. This is why you don't employ children to do adults' work, especially ones which can't talk.
The greatest power of all. Time is remembered. Memory is time.
Memory is not time. This is like when I watched a scientist once and he got so confused he said that light is time. They built an entire series of lectures off that one flawed premise, which I guess gets passed down to the next generation of people too thick to think about it.
What happened? What happened on that night?
Oh, always useful, aren't you, Janice? Janice, we've set up this entire thing to work out what happens on this night. We're getting to it, love, alright? Not as if you've got anywhere else to be. You can put off your particularly interesting episode of Countdown for one evening, can't you, love? This pause is cursed. He looks demonically possessed. And she's looking at him as if he's demonically possessed. Ncuti, if that ends up on a thumbnail, I apologise. I'm still gonna do it. I'm just English enough I think I should apologise. At that moment, the woman starts walking towards them, luckily with her hood up and in shadow.
There she is.
It's almost as if she knew that someone would be looking back at her through a time window in the future. Now you'd think the obvious move would just be to walk forwards and look under her hat. No. We can't move and look around this place for some reason. If only we chose a better place to stand, it could have been even more useful.
Why can't we see it properly?
Well, it's because her hood's over her face, love. This is how light works.
More than just a glitch. It's like she's shadowed.
She is shadowed. The light is coming at her from this angle. She's got a hood up and down. And so obviously the shadow is across this part of her body and under the hood. It's literally a shadow, mate. Even the 13-year-old child could have worked this one out.
Can she see us?
I don't think she can, but you can't move. You can't.
None of this makes any sense. Why can't we move? And why on earth would she be able to see you? All you're doing is making a CGI version of the past. You're not traveling there.
You've got to keep everything exactly as it was.
Why would moving change what was? You're not doing anything. You haven't traveled back in time.
Walk by, look at her face. Look.
Yeah, but if the light doesn't shine from in front of her, it's not going to light up the hood. The light is clearly coming from behind her.
Here she comes.
But then she jumps and it's like, oh, there must have been a glitch. It's almost as if she knew where they were standing in the future. But he says there's been a power surge, I don't know what's happening. And she's already moved past everyone, so we can't see her face anymore. What a coincidence.
Did anyone see her face?
No. How are they going to see her face? She teleported past everyone, you silly tart. She was walking towards you and they're all off at the sides. They were never going to see her. She had her hood up.
Colonel Chidozi can't make her out.
Of course he can't. Do you understand how light works? He's staring at the back of the hood like you are.
Sorry, Doctor. Why?
It's because he's at the wrong angle, you useless bint.
What is so different about her?
That she's got a hood up. This isn't complicated. But at that moment, he arrives. And we know that's him arriving because the doctor tells us.
That's me.
Thanks for that, mate. I was a bit confused. If you don't have a name tag on, I find it difficult to tell you apart from anyone else. Even as I'm looking at you, I can't tell which one's the Doctor, which one's Ruby. Thing is, though, he points out the TARDIS is almost solid. It's stronger than anything else. If time is memory, what is the memory of a time machine? Well, the same as the memory of anything else, to be honest. If we're completely leaving sci-fi and just going into fantasy territory, we can now just say things and not have to have them make any sense. But it's like, hang on, your mother's stopped. Why she stopped? This is weird.
Doctor, I think she's crying.
Oh, no, not in Doctor Who. Is this Ncuti Gatwa himself in a hood? Because he's the person that seems to be crying all the time. We keep calling it the mother, but is it actually Ncuti Gatwa dropping his own sprog? It turns out I did have a daughter. It was Ruby. And then when I had to drop her off as I crossed my own time stream, I had to walk away and have a little cry, as I do every episode. I have to admit, I started this explanation taking the piss. Thing is, it would fit, and it's so awful, it is a storyline they might use. Oh, the twist was that actually the mother was the father! Turns out all his crying was actually had a story point, and it wasn't just him being a scared little girl.
She's given away her child.
You don't need a reason that good. Ncuti Gatwa just cries for everything.
I took her in, darling, and she's safe.
Don't make her cry anymore.
I took your daughter in and taught her my work ethic. You don't need to do any. Just hold your hand out and money falls into it from the state.
Mom, you should see what I've done. I
What have you done? Apart from almost get yourself killed in the last episode.
traveled the universe.
What, that's your list of achievements? I've travelled? That how we judge your success in life? Visiting what other people have created? 2024 Doctor Who, low standards. Would have been more impressive if you got, I've got a child of my own.
And I came back.
You're on a few backs, actually. Ruby almost got killed because you wanted to do it on someone's back. At that moment, then, he arrives back as a memory, and she turns around.
My memory of this keeps changing.
That's because memory is time, remember? Does that make sense?
Time keeps changing.
I spelt it out just in case you're too slow to work it out yourself.
And that's when you realise, hang on, her hand has light on it, but her face didn't.
She's pointing at you.
Is she, though? Is she pointing at him or something else?
Can she see you? Did my mother see you?
I don't know why she was pointing.
My favourite thing about this scene is because it's a time memory, the fact that it looks like a bad green screen is an advantage. It's the point. Can anyone see it? It's like, how would they be able to see it? They can all see the same things you can.
Morris, can you magnify the woman?
Can you zoom in and enhance? I thought you had technology.
I enhanced the detail and...
Someone's reflection.
Reflection.
There's a reflection of the...
Hold on a second, I'll enhance.
Zoom in on the door.
And so they come to the conclusion, maybe she's not pointing at me. Maybe she's just pointing at something behind me.
Is there anything there?
Colonel Chidozi, you will return to your position.
Yes, it's not dangerous to move. We've been told that we can't move. I mean, I could walk over there. I could do it myself. But I'm not going to do that because it's dangerous. Security guard, can you go and risk your life? Because I'm too much of a coward to do it myself. The doctor, everybody. Like I say, this is Ncuti Gatwa's humiliation ritual.
See if there's anything there.
You said not to move.
I know!
I know, and I'm not going to do it myself. That would put me in too much danger, but he's disposable, isn't he?
But just look.
Yeah, just go and look. Nobody cares about your safety. I'm not gonna go, am I? I'm not that stupid. You do it. He's basically Homelander at this point. And she gets so annoyed, she's like, you're risking my soldier's life.
You may not care about it, but I do. That's because I'm a woman and you're not.
Proceeding forward, man.
And so she backs down because he is the doctor. He goes, looks, can't find anything.
Maybe if I try a different angle.
Dude, what do you think this is? Call of Duty? It's not that big a room. You're gonna smash into a wall.
Colonel, be careful.
I also don't know why he's pointing his gun at things. This is a memory. Doesn't exist. But at this point, you're like, oh, this is going to go really badly wrong, isn't it? When he walks behind the TARDIS. Why did he do that? She's pointing over there. You're looking in the wrong direction, mate. But he says he's got nothing, and the mother starts to walk away. Doctor's like, oh, it's okay. I understand you're crying. I do that all the time. And as the mother vanishes, for once, it's Ruby's turn to cry. And the doctor, well, he's barely holding himself back from it as well. As he gets back in his TARDIS.
She's gone.
I hate to break it to you, love, but she was never there. This is simply a 3D model of a memory. But memories are time! Bro, it's like 5 foot from your chair to where you're sat. Just walk. Getting on a pissing Segway to go everywhere.
Doctor, can I ask?
Doctor, can I ask, where's the security guard gone? You've all seemed to have forgotten him.
A second, please.
No, I'm sorry, I've got to ask.
Where's the security guard?
What is that?
Okay, so why did nobody else see this? Why did only the 13-year-old spot the giant piece of gas when he was the only one looking in the other direction? Everyone else is staring at this window. None of you noticed the dark cloud space monster and went, hang on, what's that? I mean, it is very inconspicuous. I can understand why they couldn't notice it until the 13-year-old had to get up and turn around and drive over there. She literally only just saw it. What a silly cow. I know they weren't sending their best, but these people drain IQ from everyone else around them.
Doctor, what is that thing?
I bet he doesn't know. Just have a cry, Doctor. Get it out of the way. Yeah, mate, you get your gun. That'll work on a cloud.
Into the window. Stay where you are.
Hang on, that piece of glass will protect us. I mean, there is a big obvious crack that it could just pour itself through, but I've already lost one person to the Doctor's stupidity. I'm not losing another one.
Dozy, where are you? Are you in there?
I'm sorry we forgot about you before. But like, Doctor, is that now? Is it in this room? Or is it back in 2004? Bearing in mind that the security guard has already vanished in their current time, I would ask, does it even matter?
What is it though? Is it come from the mother?
I don't know.
How would it come from the mother? The mother vanished over there, and this is over. How would it arrive? The Doctor, as ever though, is as useful as he's been the entire season.
Is it us? Does it come for us?
I don't know.
Why do you even exist? Could we go back to British people as the Doctor? They were smarter.
Morris, can you get any readings?
Hang on, I'll get you some readings, love. I'm just gonna have to drive my Segway over there and spend 5 minutes desperately trying to climb into my chair, which for some reason you made really high.
Oh, it's cold. It's radioactive. It's dead.
It's hot, it's cold, it's radioactive, it's dead, it's alive.
And then you go, hang on, sorry, I can't understand a word you're saying. Steve, can you go over there and read the readings and actually speak properly? Thank you. I am assuming this guy is evil, given Russel T Davies' feelings about him.
And a lot of us on the production team had the problems with that of associating disability with evil.
I don't know.
Hey, you could be the next Doctor if you're that unsure about everything in life. But then the big brains in the room chirps up. Ruby's mum.
I know his name. It's the Beast.
Thanks, love, but next time you have a thought, keep it to yourself, eh? The missing security guard, though, does eventually chirp up. Oh, thanks for that. You gotta respond to where your accent was invented.
He's like, I'm not inside the monster, I'm lost.
Where are you?
This is London, mate. We already knew that bit.
I'm in a disgusting, filthy place full of inbred perverts.
Yes, we understand it's London, but have you got any useful information you can provide us?
It's seen me. It's seen right into my soul.
This is beginning to sound like an audio tape of Russel T Davies' casting couch.
And it's so old.
I told you.
It's been waiting for so long.
When did he stop making Doctor Who? 2008. That is a long time to wait. At that moment, though, the entire machine blows up. I'd like to point out that that glass is shattered. You can see all of the cracks, and yet... Hey, it is lucky that all those explosions missed those two in a perfect pattern, isn't it? I also love that everyone else ducks except the security guard. I'm not sure whether that's a, yeah, I'm a security guard, I'm big, hard, and tough, or I'm evil. As the machine blew up, though, the smoke monster from Lost has vanished and been replaced by him. Turns out Hal really did mean London, as he never went anywhere. He was always in the room.
He looks like he's been dead for 100 years.
What it's like waiting for a quality script in Doctor Who.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, mate. It is your fault. And she knows it, literally glaring at him, because he was the one that told him to move. He was the one that told him to go behind the TARDIS. Just keep walking, as she's warning him. The Doctor murdered that man. The Doctor didn't move because it'd be too dangerous. The Doctor didn't move because he knew moving around was gonna cause something bad to happen. And so he sent somebody else to his death, deliberately and intentionally. And she knows it, and she's judging him for it. It's a humiliation ritual for Doctor Who. Any other Doctor would have just gone and looked themselves and taken the risk themselves. This one's an effeminate coward who has done nothing useful the entire series. And he knows it. I actually did expect them to make Ncuti Gatwa sort of like an incredibly overpowered Doctor. I thought that all the people wanting to appear virtuous in the BBC would massively overcompensate and make him more powerful than ever before. No, actually, it seems like they despise him for some reason. Probably because he's got dangly bits. They must be too weighty compared to all the other tick boxes. And she, obviously, is pissed and tries to do something to help.
Unit forensics, option 10 and 11 schematics immediately.
Meanwhile, what's the Doctor gonna do?
Take me to Susan Triad.
Don't care about that guy anymore. Might as well go visit my daughter, have a family reunion. Maybe we could go out for a coffee.
Oh, he's almost in tears. He's definitely about to cry. Oh, he's almost squeezed one out. Can he actually make it? Unfortunately, managed to just save himself at the last second there by pain. And so, as any Doctor does in a moment of danger, he has a nervous breakdown and collapses on the floor, about to cry.
We're not just fighting the flood, we're fighting time itself, and I'm gonna win!
That's who I am, Time Lord Victorious.
The Time Lord Victorious is wrong.
That's for me to decide.
Rid the universe of your filth! Why don't you just die?
Basically, run.
How stunning, how brave, how intelligent, how masculine. What a hero. Wait, I think he squeezed one out. We must enhance. There we go. That's a tear. That is shiny on his... That is a tear. He did cry, folks. Now that's investigative journalism. Every episode except the one he wasn't in. But this is the Doctor. We can't have him have a breakdown and cry on the floor when there's a woman around. And so he has to be told. This is the ritual humiliation of Ncuti Gatwa. I'm having a little cry again. Don't you understand? Yeah, notice how she's not crying. She's strong and independent.
I sent him forward.
That's
thing killed him.
No, he killed him. He could have gone himself, but instead, he decided to risk somebody else's life when he knew it was dangerous. He is responsible.
What was it?
Doesn't matter what it was, you killed a bloke because of it.
And Ruby's mother, why was she pointing at me?
Finished?
Are you finished crying and whining about your own life, mate? Why don't you act like me?
Now stop grizzling and fix it.
Yeah, man up. For once in your pissing life. Even the characters are fed up of you crying all the time. You cowardly little girl.
Susan is your granddaughter, and she might be the key to this.
She might be the key to everything. This could be Batwoman all over again.
Now come on.
Yes, follow the leader, the strong, independent, estrogen-powered person. Don't you realize where your strength is, cutie? He's like, I do remember where my power is. I just need to eat more avocado on toast. Over on the CCTV now, and for some reason, the cloud has gone over there, despite the fact it wasn't even pointing at the church.
Every time I've watched that tape, it wasn't there.
Thanks for that, love. I would have assumed that if you had seen a black cloud space monster on the CTV, you may have mentioned it previously.
The recording has changed.
Because I couldn't have put that together on my own.
It wasn't there before, but it's there now. Do you think it's changed?
This is what happens when you assume the audience is as thick as the writers.
We need to know what that thing is.
Black cloud, we can see it, mate. And so, they start scanning the image.
What do you think?
It's a crude videotape of a snowstorm.
Well, I mean, with insight like that, I can see why you're employed at UNIT. What do you think? I think it looks like a VHS tape. See why you get paid the big bucks.
I was born for this.
What, to watch CCTV on a videotape? I'm sorry your life wasn't destined to be more fulfilling. Meanwhile, Susan gets introduced to the doctor. Shakes her hand, says I'm the doctor, and you think, is he gonna recognize his daughter?
Doctor Who?
Just the doctor, hello.
No, it seems like he doesn't recognize her, like he said he was going to do, immediately.
Have we met before?
I thought you said you'd recognize her. I thought that was the entire point of meeting her.
Well, if you don't mind my saying, I'd remember a handsome chap like you.
It's alright, love, there's no danger. He ain't interested in you. Which is lucky, because we don't need his companion to get killed again. Although it is interesting that he has ditched her again in a different building where an alien is that's killing people, like he did in the previous episode that almost got her killed. But she's like, oh, I can't sleep, I keep having dreams. Do you have dreams of... And he just goes through her previous lives. And as he calls out a dream, she looks panicked and she just has to get away. Despite the fact that this guy seems to know what I dream about all the time. No, for some reason, I don't want to talk to him.
Do you dream about being an ambulance?
Do you dream about being an ambulance? That's got to be the stupidest line to write down in the history of the universe.
Sorry, I've really got to go.
Somebody guessed that you were an ambulance and you don't want to talk to him. Are you insane? Thing is, though, the image is resisting the scan. It's fantasy, not sci-fi. They don't need to obey, well, anything.
Oh, this is just how it works now.
Morris, try running it backwards.
How? How are we going to scan it backwards? And how is that any different than scanning it forwards?
Let's see what happens if we reverse time and rewind the VHS.
Is your VHS player eating the tape or something?
Like, we've got to try and undo the bundle.
The hell?
But for some reason, it works. They contact the doctor. We found something at the heart of the creature. It's the TARDIS. But he's like, we can't have done it. We saw the TARDIS. We knew it was there.
It's there for a second time, which you said couldn't happen.
Yeah, but to be fair, this doctor's got everything wrong the entire season and done absolutely nothing. Why are we trusting what he says anymore? And then she realizes... Yeah, remember when he said the TARDIS had indigestion? It's making a weird noise, isn't it? Thank God her mum's there, because without her insight, I don't know what we do in this situation.
Doctor, what was that?
Who's made that noise before?
How come we never looked into that before? Why did we never work out what was wrong with the TARDIS when it started to happen?
Probability of a trap, 99% and rising.
Thanks for that, mate. I needed the insight of a 13-year-old to tell me that something weird was happening. And she says, well, if it existed around one TARDIS, what happens if it exists around this TARDIS?
Evacuate the Austrian. Leave the TARDIS alone.
And you will assume his next line would be, I'll be right over. Something's attacking my TARDIS. Pretty important.
I've got to stay here.
Yeah, mate. I mean, she's about to do a software launch, and all the people that you care about are in a different building about to die. You're right. You should probably stay at the launch of Microsoft Word. This is literally the same mistake he made in the previous episode. He should have learnt from that. Instead, he's making the same decision, but this time he's just not attracted to somebody because of it.
I think Susan Triad is a part of it.
Doesn't matter if she's a part of it, is it? She might be a part of it, or the TARDIS could be getting eaten by a space creature. I take everything back. She's clearly a danger to the world. The laws of physics can't handle this much cringe. Definitely an alien. At least alien to England. Like the rest of London.
Clear the room right now.
Everyone get out of here.
Ruby, I'm sorry, you're part of this. I need you to stay.
Yeah, I need you to stay, Ruby, because, you know, the doctor always puts you in danger. But your mother, she's useless.
We'll be taken home. I'm staying with her.
What are you gonna do? If they need to know the daytime TV schedule, they can just lock it up.
Mum, what do you want me to do?
Come on with me.
Then you're not helping.
Based. Piss off, you selfish cow.
Which means I love you, and thank you, and goodbye.
Yes, you're utterly useless. Piss off. So they escort her out the room physically. Why was she even in the episode? She didn't do anything. She literally turned up, stood there, got kicked out. Bit like Rose, really. Why did she exist in this episode? But out of the ceiling come some scanners. You're like, well, they were lucky they built them in there, weren't they? They scanned the TARDIS and found the life form exists.
Analysis confirms life form.
And just in case that wasn't obvious enough for you.
We can't see it, but it registers on the quantum search.
Thanks for that, 13-year-old. I know you were just repeating what the other thing said, but I have no idea what words you used. Well, luckily, while all this going on, the Doctor is observing, well, some words going up a screen. And as it's been spotted, it seems to be taking over unit.
I hope.
She starts hearing voices of the creature.
We need you here right now.
And for once, I agree with the head of unit. She's spoken since the entire episode because this is the Humiliate Gatwa one.
Kate, get Ruby to the time.
What for?
She's like, don't you talk back to the Doctor? Despite the fact that the last person that obeyed him died. Well,
You do not question, you move.
what if he's an idiot though? What if every time he does anything he gets it wrong? And what then? Meanwhile, she starts reading off the wrong things, listening to the voices in her head.
My name is Kate Lethbridge Stewart.
And if the Doctor won't take command, then I will. And for some reason, I think I can order this invisible space creature to do literally anything.
And I demand that you show yourself.
Who are you to demand anything? It's my life. I'll be invisible if I want to.
He is hidden in the howling void.
Uh-oh, the Nutter's talking.
Brave the storm and the darkness.
Maybe we should have asked her name first. And she says all this time he's whispered and delighted and seduced. Maybe he owns the TARDIS now. And the Lord of Time was blind and vain and knew nothing. You're accurate there. No one is more vain and ignorant than this Doctor.
Kate, who is she?
Well, it's Harriet. Duh. We've already told you that.
Harriet Harbinger.
Harriet Harbinger. And we are so good at anagrams, but we couldn't have worked out, hang on, H. Harbinger.
Well, obviously.
Even I got that.
Harbinger! That was a lot easier than pissing TARDIS. I am the night, I am the terror. And so as we enter the time mirror.
Dude, why am I here?
It activates on its own. Okay, yeah, but who did that then? And why did the Doctor want you to do it?
They said this thing was broken. It's starting to remember.
You mean it is? It's a computer, love. It can't remember anything.
Stand with me. I'm not losing another officer.
It's okay, the Doctor's in another building. He won't get that one killed as well. But at that moment, the Doctor realizes there's something wrong with her as well. Like, okay, yeah, but shouldn't you be protecting the TARDIS? It's more important. They start reading through all the different gods that have existed. She gets down and starts having a seizure. Oh no, my face! And as the creature reveals itself. And it turns out maybe there was an anagram. Maybe we got the wrong anagram. No, that's the reveal. Like, seriously, this is as low as we can go, I think. Is it Susan Triad? Is it Sue Triad? Is it Sue Technology? Is it Sue Tech? Is it Sue Tech spelt entirely incorrectly?
It was the wrong anagram.
That's not a pissing anagram. An anagram isn't getting two words, cutting them in half, coming up to a shortened version of the other one, and then spelling it incorrectly. That's not how you work out an anagram. You might as well have called her David Stevenson and just done the same thing. Yes, if we change all of the words from what they are, you can make it say anything. And it's like, I never worked that one out. Of course you didn't. This is just a really stupid god that can't spell. But he is forming into the new creature from the dust cloud. This is me now, I'm a dog. Like a lot of the cast. You know what? Probably would have been a good idea to have the Doctor here right now, wouldn't it, to fight that thing. Instead, he's off watching a tech convention release Google Analytics.
100%.
Thanks for that, mate. I'm so glad we had the genius 13-year-old on the team to tell us what was happening after it happened.
You said you were a doctor.
At this point, he's so scared, I'm surprised he didn't burst into tears. Although if anything's going to make him cry, it's the next bit.
Why don't you try to help?
Don't fancy yours much, mate. Although give London a few more years, that'll be the average citizen.
Shall fall into dust and ashes and ruin.
At least she cried when she was saying it. I'm not sure why the Harbinger is upset that her god has appeared, but as she touches him, he dies. And it's like, haha, I've beaten you. And like, oh, look, he's mastered the text message. Is this what 7,000 years of evolution creates? As you just look like Ozzy Osbourne's preferred partner. Meanwhile, she's trapped in her own memory. She sees her mom. The Harbinger turns. It's like, hang on, are you about to enter a Bond film?
Did you think I was family?
Yes, that's because he's really stupid. And she's like, I'll walk towards you really slowly to try and touch you, because I'm not threatening at all. All you have to do is move away from me and you're safe. Oh,
I'm so scared, I'm gonna let you touch me.
And then I bet someone else has to dive and tackle him to the ground, and she touches them instead, and another person dies because of his own incompetence, and we travel down a colon. What did I just watch? The main good thing about this episode is we kept the Doctor's tear counter going. And while it did feel a bit more like a Doctor Who episode, it wasn't because of the Doctor. The only thing he contributed is getting somebody killed, intentionally, while everybody else around him carried him. Again, as it seems will happen in the next episode. This series is well into farcical territory at this point, and I am now on the train that this entire thing is just to humiliate the Doctor. Because Ncuti has done nothing throughout the entire series, and in this episode, he only existed to have women humiliate him, to frown at him, to prove that he'd made the wrong decision, and to tell him to man up, just like they did. Because without those strong, independent people, the Doctor would have been a mess on the floor, crying tears once more, making the wrong decision time after time after time, not caring about the safety of his TARDIS or his companion. This Doctor is a weak coward, the kind of person that would walk around their entire life talking about being oppressed. And so I guess, in that at least, this episode is realistic to the BBC. It's just strange that a place like the BBC, with all of their tick boxes, felt the need to do it to Ncuti Gatwa of all people. It just goes to show, like anything else, there is a hierarchy of what they want to achieve, and he isn't at the top of it. But if I was him, I wouldn't be happy with how I was portrayed this season, as it seems he's simply been there to be humiliated. And in that, the BBC is well and truly been a success. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.